Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in this world. This is Hedgen Lee with a morning update for Bitcoin. All right, so I cleaned up this chart a little bit, got rid of some older markings because after a certain while you got so many markings you can't even see the price chart. Quite often when you clean up the charts, you can see that you'll have to relabel quite a bit of it, which is good. That's a good practice to be in. When you relabel, you have more epiphanies, or rather, more aha moments that you may not have discerned, maybe a pattern or a count from a prior analysis or prior count. And by removing the old markings, you are almost trying to start with a clean slate, and you're not predisposed to think according to what your prior discernment might have been. Bear in mind, the only constant in analysis is change. Everything will change all the time. And one has to remain flexible to whatever alternate counts that may have arisen and taken a higher probability ceiling. So here, I have earlier shown the bull flags. But if we have wave 1, A, B, C for 2, and I think we could be doing 1 and 2 of 3. I know in the comments there are already other Elioticians out there criticizing my counts, and all I can say to you is you win. You're right. You are absolutely correct. Whatever you think is a better count, you got it. You win. I have no arguments for you. That's the end of it. I have had many other people sticklers to the counts, criticize my counts. Fine, I don't mind. I will count the way I see it. So if we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then we are clearly working on wave 2. So these five waves are the subwaves of 1 and 2 of 3. And wave 2 usually, quite often, retraces usually to prior wave 4. But in this case, it'll be about 50 or 0.618 of this rise from 2. And if that's the case, the other way of counting it could be like this. Well, let me do the ABC first. A, B, C could be down there. Now, the other way of counting this is slightly different. And this time going to change the colors just to differentiate. I could say that 5 is here. And I could say that we are doing an expanded flat. Remember, Elliott waves, there are more than one way to count, but quite often the destination remains the same. And that is clearly one of those attributes of Elliott waves. Much of it depends on one's perception, perspective, and experience. Bear in mind also, 2 days ago I had put out a midday update. What are the alternate counts? Because I consistently say that awareness is one of the key factors that you can attain to keep the panic and the FOMO at bay. And here I had shown what I had been my primary count. At that time, this was my primary count. That we will see higher highs using the fractals. And I'm still waiting, as I had been calling the 23K for a while. My other alternate count was this. A broadening pattern from which we can get not only 23 but to 30,626. There are a lot of bears out there right now calling this to drop like a rock to 8,000 or so. Okay. And this is my other alternate count where we see an A, B, and C. I was fully aware of this. It's just that I didn't discuss it in my blog post because it was not my primary count. And this ABC, I don't really like because this is very three-wave-ish as a fifth wave. Which is why I thought this was an A, B, and a C with a morph of a triangle C wave. However, this can fit in. It has 5, A, B, C, 3, and we can see an 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down to 8,350. And if price declines further, and this we see a 1 decline in an impulsive one manner, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that would be the first indication for me to see that this could be raised as a greater probability. But I'm not seeing that yet. We would have to go down to maybe 14.5, 14,500-ish or so. And there's some pretty good support right above that. Now here is, I changed to the Bitstamp BTC just so that I don't have to lose all my prior markings that I just made on this video. But it's relatively about the same. So here is the MACD and the current downturn that we are seeing. And one thing I noticed, I know this is an hourly chart, a lower low on the MACD, but we're not seeing exactly the same lower low in the pricing. So there's a bit of a divergence going on, I think. Now, don't get me wrong, I am never married to a single direction or single count or single forecast. I think I shared with you several weeks ago of a learning experience I saw of one guru just completely married to a bear market call in the equities calling for the Dow 400 and maybe the S&P 30 or 40 or 50. He kept on calling that from the bottom of March of 2009 financial crisis crash in equities, and kept very adamant about that into, I believe, 2013 and 14. And many subscribers who followed him blindly lost a lot of money. And that was like a slow train wreck happening right in front of my eyes of someone who just remained inflexible, unwilling to change his views and perspectives and bias. And I realized how dangerous that could be. So yes, if we see an impulsive wave down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, recovery and another start down, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, and another start down, then we could be in a alternate scenario of what I indicated earlier. This. So I would want to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, and a start down again. And I will be keeping my eye out for that. Absolutely. If I need to change to this, I will have no hesitation. But it is not my primary count right now. So if it does 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that could be the C wave of my ABC or ABC, depending on whether you count it expanded flat or regular ABC flat. I'm sorry, this would probably be a zigzag. 5, 3, 5. Not a regular flat. So what I would be doing is looking to see what happens during the day. And that's pretty much what I would be doing. Am I going to panic? No. I can just see a lot of people just panic selling right now. And we are sitting at a bit of a support. I also had one of the comments, I cannot recall who, I'm sorry, who had an astute observation in pattern. And it looked like this. Which is very beautiful. Very good discernment that person had. And this is a triangle. And I've talked so many times how much cryptos just love, love, love triangles. So we could receive and this could be clearly actionable by Bitcoin. And this will clearly fit into the projection type, the pattern type that is so well favored. In fact, this would be my first alternate. And price can go to maybe a C wave of 12,834. Sort of what we can do best. Let's see what happens. Is this the end of Bitcoin? No. Although many of the bears will let you think so. In the words of Andreas Antonopoulos, the number of obituary media calls and write-ups has been endless as soon as there's a bit of a correction, that Bitcoin is dead. I think there used to be a website, is bitcoindead.net or something like that. And I think the answer clearly, and when you went to it, the answer was no. So from a position, you can look at this in a different position. You can look at it from the position of fear and greed and get destroyed. Because when you look at it from fear and greed, you can be nothing but reactive. Or you can look at it from the position of confidence and awareness. Confidence and awareness have no relation to fear and greed. It's highly separate. Confidence is not egotism, which is related to greed. Confidence and awareness are highly tied together in the absence of fear and greed. That is why I always say, when you take your profits very gratefully and humbly without an ounce of greed. Because you got to realize when you're taking your profits, there's on the other side, people are losing money. The confidence and greed are the states that I have used to develop my laddering technique, and really the experience built upon it. Then you no longer be reactive. You no longer go like a pinball bouncing back and forth between panic and euphoria, euphoria and panic, and you no longer shoot from the hips or go by gut feeling. Confidence and awareness will keep all of those away. It's not a guarantee, and this kind of transition doesn't happen overnight. No, it could take years to develop, like it did for me. But you got to start somewhere. So I am now going to see this through the eyes. My left eye is confidence, right eye is awareness. And that to me is the best 2020 technical analysis vision that you can give yourself. So let's see how the price goes. I'm not going to panic. I've always said corrections are very healthy. I always sustain a 10 to 15% of my portfolio as cash, USD or Euro cash. Why? So I can buy the dips. So I can buy these delicious dips that are about to come if they do. And having that pile of cash and dry powder also enables the confidence and awareness to be more robust. Having cash at hand so you can buy more at the dips is a very, very empowering state. Versus someone, if you've already poured all of your money into a, God forbid, a single coin, you as a human being will not be able to withstand the emotional distress of that, even with 2 or 3 coins. No. I will tell you my portfolio. I have 20% constant exposure to Bitcoin, 10% constant exposure to Ethereum, 5% each in Litecoin and Dash, and I've rebalanced that probably monthly. Then I have 10 to 15% in cash. Then the remaining 55 to 60% I have distributed between 12 to 15 different altcoins. And that portfolio, in my humble opinion, represents a diversified portfolio with a de-risking strategy. I'm not saying what you should do. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm only saying what I'm doing. And maybe that could help augment your due diligence. So, I think I've said enough. Let's see how this goes. And this is, again, my top alternate account. If we do an A, B, C, somewhere around 12,834 could be the bottom for this. What you could do is ladder in a little bit here, buy the dips. D, E, buy the dips. That's why you have 10 to 15% cash. And then kaboom. All right, I hope you have a good day. Let's work on the confidence and the awareness states to keep the panic and the FOMOs away.